So I'm from Colombia. If you're a Colombian girl, you have 3, 4 American guys approaching you, offering you money, and pulling out their passport, like literally, and then telling you, "I'm American. Like I'm actually looking for a girl. Like I will bring you here." But it's just odd. Like why you wanna get with a girl that doesn't speak your language and that makes up to $200 a month? It's just odd. Like I don't wanna point fingers, but it's like, why are you looking for that when you can get a girl? Why can you not get in America? Why you cannot get a girl?
Is this black guys or white guys?
I saw a lot of black guys. It's odd. Like the desperation that they exude is just weird.
The Real Talk Corner. We back. We in the building. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, fighting my way through the darkness where the wicked don't rest. Conscious aware, truth I dare, shield tied to my chest. My tenacity can put these motherfuckers to the test. Vibrations of fire, alchemist of desire. I stay manifesting shit even when I am tired. You could call me a mason, by the bricks I be laying, but you'll never call me lazy, cause my vice ain't devastating. In a league of my own, spitting real talk energy. I know a little something about a thing called synergy. Destined so ready to grow with sending messages awakening. Listen up, cause we about to set your mind, body, and soul free. Today, we're going to be talking about passport bros and some stuff on that line. There's always this thing with men versus women versus men. It's constant over and over, right? And it's never going to end well if we keep fighting each other and not being on the same page and saying we need each other in this life, right? And so we're looking at guys like the passport bros. I'm going to play this one guy, and he has this whole rant like about women, and just it's crazy to me that I get it. If there's things that we have our preferences, right? And that's okay to have your preference. But if you're going to pick everything about women and say you hate it, I kind of feel like you should be dating a dude.
That part.
Like at that point, it's no longer, you're not looking for a woman.
Right.
You're looking for a bro. Mm-hmm. So I think this is interesting. Everyone's heard of the passport bros. You guys drop us a comment if you guys have heard of them. Different men. These aren't just like one group. There's all of these different men getting their passports, going to other countries, so-called getting women, although I have not seen any stories about anybody married yet. So there hasn't been any success story saying, oh, I found my wife and, any of that. There's all of the deaths and the tragic, murders of these people going to, as we just saw, like Colombia, there's like 8 different murders already of different Americans, just Americans. And we're not even talking about other people from other countries. We're just talking about on an American note. So you got these guys hopping over. To me, I'm like, how? This is not different from 90 Day Fiance. It's like,
right.
You're like, well, can't find nobody over here. I'm just going to go to another country. Personally, I don't care where you want to date, because even like here, us in the States, I'm like, I always tell people, if you've been somewhere for too long and you have like tried to date over a 10-year span and you ain't found nobody, there's just nothing, you're probably in the wrong location, or you need to branch out more. And we talk about this too, because sometimes you've exhausted that area. Maybe whoever you were dating when you were there, that was it, didn't work. So maybe you need to branch out. Maybe you need to think about, hey, am I being called somewhere else? I still would be leery of going out of the country. It's even scary moving state to state if you're not doing your diligence right on what area am I moving? What's the
Mm-hmm.
crime like in this area? Who's here? What's going on? If you're not doing that diligence, if you're here in the country that you're trying to be in, then you can kind of, do your diligence, look around. But I feel like it's a lot more scarier than going out of the country, being in a foreign country.
Right. It's a
Like,
whole different culture you have to learn. Different cultures,
right,
adapting to a whole different country, and yeah, that's a whole different ball game
right.
than a state. Because, like you said, with a state, you still got to get to know, the state and what's there, and So imagine a country.
Right. Like I feel like, okay, I've my whole life has been here in the US. So, but I'm like, shoot, I know where the major freeways. I could jump on any one if I need to, to get to
Need
East Coast
be,
to West
right.
Coast if I need to. But in a country that I've never been, I don't know. I don't know how to get out, don't know where to go, don't know none of that stuff. You're just at the hands of whoever. That's, to me, that is a scary, and everyone
Mm-hmm.
has their different. I know that a lot of these men try to make it seem like these women from what they call third world countries are docile and submissive and all of these things. And I'm like, it's not like you can't find submissive women in America.
And yeah, and to me, that sounds like a you thing. Because let's just be honest, so many men put it on the woman, oh, she's not submissive. Maybe you should ask yourself why she's not submissive.
Ding, ding, ding.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's a you thing. And now
Right,
you feel like you got to go to a whole nother country to get a submissive woman. I think
right.
that's a you thing.
That part. That's what I feel. And I'm like, there's a big difference. Submissive does not mean controlling, because even some women mix this part up and they think it
Mm-hmm.
means control. Submissive doesn't mean controlling, because a woman will allow a man to lead, and she will submit to that man if she is safe with him.
Exactly.
If she's safe and believes in him in that way, then yeah, she's gonna submit and be like, okay, baby, take the wheel. And I'll handle
Exactly.
support with no problems. But the man doesn't realize that if your woman is not submitting to you, what are you not carrying within you? Because a
Mm-hmm.
real woman, I don't give a fuck if she's an alpha. A real woman, soon as that man that she's safe with comes, she gets into that feminine.
Oh, for real. And it's so funny because a lot of the time, even if you are alpha, like me, I always say I'm an alpha submissive. I can be an alpha when necessary and definitely can submit. It's like we look for that. We don't want to be the alpha because let's just be honest, two alphas in the same household, that's not going to work.
Nope.
So I don't want to be, why would I want to be the alpha if you're the alpha?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to be submissive, but if you can't lead me nowhere, what the fuck am I following you for? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, so I think a lot of the times they do. They quick to put it on the female, like, oh, she's not being submissive, this, that, and the third. Maybe you should ask yourself why she isn't. Because, like you said,
Right.
it goes back to being comfortable, being vulnerable. Like, maybe she doesn't feel safe. Like,
Yeah.
I can let my guards down. I can,
Right.
submit and allow him to lead the way because I know he got us. He's gonna, put us in a direction where we good.
Right. Right.
So ask yourself that question, and I don't think changing the country is gonna answer that question.
It's not. It's not. That's why I'm like, and so we say this. We'll probably do one on just kind of alpha women to kind of talk about that a little bit deeper, because I think a lot of alpha women think they need an alpha man. Even me, younger, I used to be like, man, I can't deal with no passive man. I need. But honestly, I don't need another alpha, because we're going to bump heads. We're going to constantly, you're going to be in competition mode with another alpha, no matter how
Hmm.
much you care about each other. You really have to look at that and say, okay, opposites do attract for a reason. If you think of a magnet, you're not going to put two positives together. You need the negative and positive to come together. So if you think about that, you're like, oh, okay. Because you could have what they call a beta male or a passive man, and he still know how to run shit. He still knows how to lead the family. He knows how to provide. He knows how to hold shit down in that way. And then you could
Mhm.
be your aggressive, ways that you want to still be and still have that. So I think there's a lot of misconception on who you're supposed to be dating. Like if an alpha spot is so, on the top tier, no, it's not. I don't even think alpha women are top tier, because when you're too alpha woman, you don't want to hear shit from no one. That is when
Exactly.
you're too far in your masculine. You ain't trying to hear shit.
Hmm. And then it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Let's just be honest. Why would a masculine want to deal with another masculine? If that's the case, he can go the other way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, let's just be honest. If he's gonna feel like he's
Right.
fighting with a masculine every day,
Right.
then he can go to the other gender if that's the
Right.
case. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so, and I mean, it goes, the same thing for women. Of course, we want our men to also be in that feminine, energy also, but
Mhm.
also have that alpha too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
to me, it's a balance. I think we all need to know a balance. I think people are just so one-sided. It's like
Yeah.
either you're this way or you're that way. No, the
Right.
balance, and it goes back to like the yin and yang. Like, it makes sense.
Yep.
Like it makes sense. Like you don't want two male energies going on. Like it just I know I wouldn't.
No.
As a dude, I wouldn't want to feel like I'm dealing with a dude every day. Like, what the
Right.
fuck? Yeah. Mm-mm.
It's a big thing of misconception. Most women who are in their masculine are, it's because they had to be, not that they want to
Mhm.
be. Most women, I'll
Mhm.
say most women. I won't say all women, because there are some women who are just masculine as hell and they love that competition and that roar, and they be like, all right, you go do that. That shit's tiring.
Right. She changing the tire on her car and she proud. Not me.
And
I'm
I
going
mean, I,
to.
I I can honestly say I had so much hate towards men because of what I went through with my baby's daddy, and just even after that, being raped and things like that. I had so much hate with him that I was like that, like, fuck a man, I don't need a man. I learned how to change a tire. I learned how to do things under the hood. I was like, I ain't asking a man for shit, but that was all out of hurt and pain. It wasn't because that's how I really felt. And I think a lot of women are running around with a lot of pain, whether it's daddy issues, whether it's from relationship stuff that went on, and you're like, fuck a man, I don't need a man, because of who let you down, right?
Right.
So if women sat back and be like, okay, who let me down first before I'm just popping off? And of course, when you're young, you're not thinking, you're just like, whatever, this is how I feel right now. But of course, I'm in my 40s now. I can look back and be like, and I've done hellified healing. I can look back and be like, whoo, no, baby girl, you was hurt. You was hurting, because
Right.
the men that were in my life from my dad on, disappointed. They didn't show up. They didn't protect me. They didn't have my back. They just didn't. So it had that. So I feel like people just, you got to kind of go within first, right? What's going on with you? First, not, it can't be everybody else. You got to start looking at self and be like, so if you want this submissive women, where there's tons of women who would love to be at home moms and this and that. So I'm like, what are y'all saying? You think every woman wants to fucking go work 70-hour jobs and work weeks? A lot of women would love to be home, chilling, taking care of the fucking family. And
Mhm.
so it's crazy to me when we hear this, and it's like, you guys don't believe everything on the internet, and social media is always going to show everything negative. It's not going to show you all the positive, right? Because everyone feeds on the negative. So if you
Mhm.
believe that that's all that there is out there, you're missing so many beautiful people that you possibly could give chances to, But
Mhm.
I guess that's the name of the game, right? All right, let's get into we're gonna watch this dude, which I mean, to each his own. Everybody has their, looks, and everybody has their who's cute to them. I don't think this dude is that attractive to be on here talking about what he will or won't, accept. That's just my personal opinion. You guys, you guys will see when once I pull it up. I personally don't think that, he should be talking shit like that. I think he should sit down somewhere. I feel like you really have to come to a place to understand your dating range, right?
Yes,
We all have a
yes,
dating range. We all ain't dating in the same caliber. We're all not
exactly.
dating the same people, the same tiers, the same level. And so it's hilarious to me when I see people that really are not, they're really outside the bubble and just in la la land.
Delusional. They delusional. It be the audacity when you see certain things you like. It's the audacity to think that you even have a chance with
Right.
certain people. Like you said, I mean, and it's nothing wrong with it. It's like you gotta just know, like you said, your
Mhm.
dating range, your range. Like it's
Right.
not lowering your standards. It's not, it's to me it's being realistic,
Yeah, definitely.
you
And
know.
and it's not even just his looks. He's not an ugly man, but his attitude is ugly as hell. And I say this a lot. When you have a messed up attitude, you are already an ugly person. Like that diminished whatever decent characteristics you had
Hmm.
on your face. So as soon as you start acting like that, that to me, that makes a person very, very, very ugly. It's just spewing off bullshit. So again, I'm like, you probably are a piece of crap, you know. But hey, he does talk, I think he has a video or two about the passport bros and stupid stuff like that. And it's just like, so because you got rejected, somebody rejected him maybe one too many times, and now
Hmm.
you mad, now you pissed off. So we're gonna listen to this supposedly 5B movement, although I haven't seen anybody else talk about this 5B movement. We're gonna listen to his and see what he what he has to say.
The pleasure of introducing to you the 5B movement. The 5B movement is a complete rejection of feminism, working women, career women, and it is complete support of traditional women, housewives, pick me women, and we are calling for all men to leave women alone until you are able to afford a housewife. It is specifically to get up your money and focus on your career until you can have a housewife and afford a housewife. Okay? This is a movement to move families back.
I would really like to see this shit where men leave women alone until they bred up. Wilsey.
To the traditional ways. The 5B movement study shows stay at home moms married to well off men produce the best results for children. Women with a high education are more likely to divorce. All right. Um, Career women are more likely to neglect their children. Career women have bad attitudes. So we're tired of this. We're tired of the single mom crap. Traditional women are more likely to have a long lasting marriage. You're less likely to have a baby mama if you go traditional and if you can afford a traditional woman. All right. This will improve our community. You don't have to surrender to control of feminism. They're using the 4B movement to try to control men. Okay? Do not fall for it. Avoid feminism, career women. Focus on your money. Make money. You don't have time for women. You have time to make money. Once you get that money right, you can buy a house and start your family with a housewife. The 5B movement is a complete rejection of baby mamas, single moms.
He act like women made them themselves baby mamas.
Right.
How you rejecting baby mamas when it takes two to tango?
Right. She's obviously a baby mama because the other didn't play their part, which is obviously the baby daddy.
Yeah,
Can't be
I
a
could,
baby mama without a baby daddy. Can't be a
we're
single mother if the father did not make her a single mother. So,
right.
like, where's the accountability here?
We're going to do a podcast on that, you guys, because I do want to talk about that. I've seen there's this other thing about baby mamas and the whole thing with, oh, you should have chose better. And putting it just all on the woman as if there aren't men out there that know how to act. There aren't men out there that are narcissistic or, you play mind games or manipulating. Like if that doesn't exist out there, not
Mm.
everyone goes into a relationship knowing that the person is a piece of shit,
I was
you
just
know?
about to say that. They no, it's true. Like when my oldest son was planned. I was with his father for 6 years, and this was his first kid, my first kid planned. We thought we were good. And when I left him to spite me, he chose not to be in my son's life. How the fuck would I have known that? I
Right.
would not have known that until the time came of us breaking up. But I would not have known that he was a really good dad. He was there through my pregnancy, through the whole 6 years.
Right.
He was a great dad, very involved. And it
Mm,
wasn't until we broke up, until I left him to spite
right.
me, he chose not to be in my son's life. So
Yeah.
then, of course, that made me a single mom for, 4 years until I met
Mhm.
my ex husband. But I would never have known he was like that. And I knew him for a while. Like we were on the same page. But again, this is why I think people should date longer
Oh,
through
yeah.
seasons because they think they know everybody and you don't. If y'all have not went through
No.
seasons together, meaning everything, health, breakups, you
Right.
wouldn't know how they're gonna react. Because I would never have thought he would have abandoned my son to spite
Right.
me. I would never have thought the way
Right.
he was such a dad and proud to be a dad, that was
Right.
the last. But people's feelings get involved, and his
Yep.
feelings was more important to hurt me because he knew me having my son and not having a dad to raise my son with me would hurt me. He knew that was the only way to hurt me. Any
Right.
other way wasn't gonna like moving on, being, with another chick, none of that was gonna hurt me. But hurting my son by not being there was gonna hurt me. And that was his MO.
Right.
Until this day, my son is 23, about to be 24. But the universe do what it do because 4 years later, I met my ex-husband, and my son still wound up having a dad.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So he tried to spite me when you didn't spite me because my son still wound up having a dad.
Mm,
But yeah, I was a single mother for 4 years, not
yeah.
by choice. Not
That
by choice.
yeah. So that's why I said, yeah, we're definitely going to cover that because I've seen way too much of that, and I think it's a cop out for me. It's a cop out for me because yes, it does take two. And sometimes you're young and you think this is your person, you think you're in love, you sometimes it's puppy love when you don't know any better, you think because I could have swore me and my baby daddy were going to be together forever, and I met him when I was 13. But just like you said, you really have to see through the darker times.
Right.
Everything's great when it's good. Everything is
Exactly.
beautiful when it's good, but it's when shit hits the fan. It's when the person cheats on you, when a person brings a outside kid home, you lose your child. There's a lot of things that can happen that are game changing for people that people don't. This person gets into accident and then all of a sudden they can't even move their body. They're in a wheelchair for the rest of their life. Did you sign up for that? You know what I
Right.
mean? People don't think about that. Like,
They don't.
oh, we just got married and now you already in a wheelchair and I got to take care of you.
Hmm.
So there's a lot more that goes into it that you cannot foresee. So just to be like, oh, you need to pick better, I think it's bullshit. Now, yes, do we know a lot of women who be having kids and it's like, really, that's who you chose to have your kid with? Like this motherfucker already
Right.
had 5 kids before you and you decided to
Right.
be number
Right.
6?
Hmm.
I don't know about, like, so that, yeah, we got to talk about that, because it's like, yeah, no, you was a stupid one. You number 6 and he already don't take care of. And once a dude tells you that all his other baby mamas is crazy, he's the crazy one. Just so y'all
Mm-hmm.
know. It didn't take 5 baby mamas for him to be like, they all crazy. Mm-mm.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
Let's see.
All right. And even though I'm a passport bro, I'm not counting out traditional American women for the other men. All right. So this is a calling for all men to leave women alone.
One thing I wanted to say with this is I understand him being against feminism, because feminism does take it to like the extreme. It's the extremism. And we know that feminism was created really by gay women or lesbians. We don't call them gay, we call them lesbians. And they really had a hate for men. Okay. And so I think that women, I've done, I think I've done a podcast on this before, where I talked about feminism and just the history of it. And maybe we need to do it again to enlighten some people and you understand where it came from and why those women were so raw of what they were talking about. In 2024, we have some stuff against us, but it's nothing compared to what those women were going through
Right.
back then. No one is really
Mm-hmm.
holding us back. We still got a lot of choices and a lot of freedom. And we can go vote, and we can, we can do a lot of damage, and we can stop purchasing at companies, because women are the top consumers,
Mm-hmm.
on multiple avenues. But a lot of women don't see that. It's just kind of like we're still naive to a lot of this. So I can see that, because when you look at just the jargon behind a lot of the feminism stuff, it goes into hate. Now here we go with the freaking hating men. No, we don't need to hate each other. We need to find that common ground and come back to each other. So I will
Exactly.
say I agree with him on far as bringing the tradition back of even wanting that family and even desiring to have that family and working towards having that family, because that is a huge problem of not having families together, not having mom and dad. And this is no shade to anyone who's gay or lesbian, but I believe in the mother and father aspect for a
Mm-hmm.
child. There's just something that a mother and a father give, that it's just different. It's not to say that you can't raise a child and you wouldn't love it and all of those things, but it won't be the same as having those two aspects. And I know some people will be like, oh, but if they're fucked up, I'm not talking about a fucked up parents. I'm talking about
Right.
generally
Exactly.
loving, caring parents, masculine, feminine. You just can't replicate that. And I think it's very important to have that in their life. So I do believe that on that note, I do agree with him on that. We are definitely lacking in that aspect. But him coming for like career women, I don't like that, because even that traditional man who's going to make all that money in this day and age in 2024, how much money in hours does he have to put in to support a family?
Exactly.
Is he ever going to be home? Because she's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
single mom while he's working 100 hours a week trying to create this funds. Because not everybody is a freaking CEO. Not everybody got their own
Mm-hmm.
businesses. Not everybody
Yep.
knows how to do stocks. Not everybody's on Wall Street. So for
Exactly.
the average man who right now is making that 50, 60, maybe 50, 80, let's say 50 to 80K, how is he
Mhm.
supposed to take care of his whole family
No, it's
on that?
true. You
Let's
got to
be
think
real.
about it. The more, if he's making 6 figures, just think about how many hours he's
Mhm.
putting into that job. And again, if he's putting all those hours in, he's away from the home. So he's also not spending
Right.
time with the children. He's also not spending time with his wife. So how do you
Yep.
expect someone to have a successful marriage? Like what he's saying, to me, it makes no sense. Have a successful marriage and be great parents if he's not there, because then it
Right.
goes back to what we was just saying, falling on the woman.
Yep.
She's there, she's being the mom, she's being the wife, but he's there making the money. So again, like you said, to me, knocking someone because they have an education, a degree, and
Right.
they can work, that's dumb to me, because to me, you should want your partner to be able, even if she is staying at home and having a business on the side at home, or even at home and working part-time 4 hours a day, where maybe she's online, online doing some work or whatever. That's less
Right.
hours he has to put, and those are more hours he can be home with her and her children.
Right.
And I think a lot of men get that twisted,
Yeah.
and to me, you should want a woman who can help take that burden off of you, where you
Right.
don't have to put that extra, do that extra, put in those extra hours, work 7 days a week. You shouldn't have to work 7 days a
Right.
week if you have a partner.
Right. Working 2, 3 jobs to maintain because, yeah, ideally it sounds great, but once you get to those higher brackets, that's more work, more time. I know a lady who, she has a beautiful life and she always feels bad that she gets into this place of just feeling depressed because the type of he's into like accounting, right? So the type of business he's into, he is constantly at work from early morning, especially different seasons and people, calling him. So he's constantly at the office. She's alone a lot. It takes a toll on them, because she's like, I'm basically by myself all day with the kids, yeah, I'll go drop them off, I'll go do this. And then she's
Mm-hmm.
like, he comes home, he's exhausted. So her needs aren't being met. His needs ain't
Mm-hmm.
being met because he's too tired.
It's
And
true.
I feel like I'm like, no, a lot of this, if we really look at it, it's restructuring things, one, to create the community, the family, so
Mm-hmm.
that you can have people around you that are safe, that'll really help you out, right? That really got your back. There was a time where people had the communities, mom, grandparents, and all of that were
Mm-hmm.
together. They worked together to help each other. That's what we're missing. We're not
Mm-hmm.
missing the man to be out working a million hours and then never being able to be there to see their children. I was
Mm-hmm.
having this conversation with my oldest, and I was like, because that's what she was saying. It was like, man, but we got to work and this, that, and third. And I'm like, you know, you can go through life and you could tell yourself, well, we got to work, so we can't be home with our kids. Or you realize, what can I cut so that
Exactly.
we can have a life, because you will never get those years back with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
They grow and they're grown and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, your child will never give a shit about the
Mm-hmm.
TVs in the house or what game systems they owned or that they were always in the
It's
freshest
true.
gear. They're going to be like, were you at my recitals? Did you come to my games? Did you cheer
Mm-hmm.
me on? Did you listen to any of my stories? Did you know my favorite color? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't have none of those stories. They can't be like, well, yeah, my mom was never
I
there. Or
remember, right.
you know, so it's
That's
like,
so
I,
true.
I was telling her at the end of the day, you got to choose your kids. It sounds great. And I'm not telling anyone not to go get a career or go get a
Exactly.
degree
Mm-hmm.
or go make that money because, okay, yeah, it's out there. But as far as a family goes, when you got to really think
Mm-hmm.
about that, go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice for those years, especially 1 to 7. Those are the most important years for you to
That's
be
so
home.
true. Even with today, and it's funny because I was having this conversation with someone recently, with everyone chasing the bag. You're
Right,
so focused on chasing the bag and you're not happy. You're
right,
miserable. Like
right.
you have no time to enjoy yourself at all
Yeah,
because you're so focused
yep.
chasing the bag. You're sacrificing your own happiness to chase the bag. And don't get me wrong, we all do need the bag in order to live comfortable. We do. But if today or tomorrow we don't wake up, you're not taking that bag with you.
Nope.
So you just sacrifice, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
people are doing
yeah,
it. They are so focused on chasing that bag, like you said, to the point where they're neglecting their children because you are neglecting your children. If you're not showing up to games and you're not showing up
yep,
to report card day and you're not showing up because your
yep,
boss said if you miss one more day, you're gonna get fired. And now
yeah,
you're choosing to be like, you know what? I can't get fired. So I'm gonna go and miss, you know,
right,
parent teacher night today. So now
right,
you're sacrificing all that for a bag for what? Because
right.
at the end of the day, today or tomorrow, you may not wake up. And now you did all that
Mhm.
sacrifice. And for what? Even with us who don't, our children are bigger now and things
Right.
like that, same sense. You're not, enjoying yourself. You're miserable. You're working hard. You're
Mhm.
too tired to do anything.
Yep.
And you're sacrificing all for this bag so you can, live this life of what? To impress people, to go on these
Right.
vacations, to do these things, where at
Right.
the end of the day, you're still miserable. Like, that's just
Yeah.
to me a quick fix. You know what I mean? That's a
Yeah.
quick fix. That's not your reality because every day you're miserable. You're
Right.
not living unless you have a job where it's something you like to do and
Mhm.
it's more of a hobby and not a job, then
Right.
it doesn't feel like you're sacrificing. But let's just be honest, who really does have a job that they love?
Mhm. And
You
that's
know
the
what I
sad part
mean?
because you should find things that you love to do and do it because, and I get the concept of getting caught up in, well, I have to go do this right now. And you always can do whatever you need to do. But when we talk about having that family and raising that family, right? It's like you can't look at it like, well, I'm gonna sacrifice money to be a parent because you chose to be a damn parent. Like even
Exactly.
with all that I worked, and there was a lot of times I had to miss things, especially there was times where I was working them 2 jobs and things like that. But all the rest of the time I made sure to do stuff, and it wasn't always like lavish. You know how much we were in the pool? The pool was free, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
The pool and Chuck E. Cheese was cheap, like we
mm-hmm.
was at Chuck E. Cheese like it wasn't nothing. When we lived in Charlotte, we used to be at CC's. Girl, we'd be at CC's like, let's go to CC's, y'all. Let's go chill at CC's. PC, if you guys know what CCPC is, but you
Mm-hmm.
can find things to do that don't take millions of dollars. And there's so much to do outside with your kids that's free. All the parks, and that's all they want to do is go fucking play. You're there and you have that time with them. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it sounds good. Yeah, to go push this man to go make all this money so that what you guys could be on a yacht, so you could be Instagram, rich, so that you could go buy these $400 shoes or these $500 bags for what? That's what
Yeah,
I'm
and they're miserable. They're not sleeping in the same bed. They're sleeping in two different beds, or they're not even sleeping together because he's working overnight. You're at home, so you're
yeah,
sleeping by yourself. And then when he gets home, you're up with the kids, so he's sleeping by himself. So
yeah,
let's just be honest. You guys are probably not in love. Y'all just there for finances. A lot of
mhm,
relationships is there just for financial. Like me personally, I'ma be all the way 100. It's cool for, to want to be that stay-at-home mom and he got this. But in that
right,
same sense, I'm not trying to sacrifice him being away from me that long. So if I have to pick
right,
up a part-time job with 4 hours or 3 out, 3 days a week for him to be able to not have to work 10 extra hours, then I'm going to do it because those are 10 extra hours he can be with me and my children.
yeah,
Or if you don't have children, be with me. Because
yeah.
again, and people wonder why the passion is gone, why the chemistry is gone.
When you're
Because he's
exhausted,
at
like
work
how?
all the time. He's
Yeah,
working 80 hours every 2 weeks, 100 hours. Of
yeah,
course, the passion is going to be gone. Of course, the chemistry is not there. Of course, you guys are going to fall out of love. Like
right,
you guys are spending more time outside. Well, he's spending more time outside the home than
right,
he is inside the home. I mean,
right,
let's just be realistic. And to me, I think a lot of women are so caught up with having that man who makes, 6 figures or making whatever, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So she can, go to the yachts and buy that Gucci and this, that, and the third.
right,
See me, I'm on a different type of time. I don't need all that. I need my man home.
right,
I need my baby home. So if I
right,
gotta get a little part-time job to help him, get these finances, then I'll get a little part-time job. If
right,
he's like, I prefer you to be a stay-at-home mom,
right.
I'll be like, cool, that's fine. That's what you want me to do, sure.
Mm,
But in the meanwhile, while I'm at home, I'm doing some type of, online working. They got work
right,
from home jobs. I'm gonna do something. So then, baby, you ain't gotta work that extra 10, 20 hours and you
right,
can be at home with me.
right. And, and,
Like,
and
mm-mm.
that's why I feel like that should be the focus is how can both of you not work crazy and be able to live your life with your children, right? So that you guys can enjoy each other as a couple and enjoy your
Mhm.
children, because children are exhausting. Anybody who has raised kids or has little ones knows how
Mhm.
exhausting that they can be. So after working all of those hours, who has energy for, so that's where I'm like, okay, I get the whole traditional concept of what you're saying, but don't come for career women just like they're the only ones that are going to neglect their kids, because there's tons of fathers that get too much into that money and status and all of that, and
Mhm.
they forget about their wife and their kids. And it's literally the
Exactly.
mom. There's even military moms that have said this, that they're like single moms because the guy be gone and stationed years, and you know what I mean, and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So it's not just women who get into focus of career and forget about the kids. No, men, you guys are on this too. And I believe men are just as important as the mother.
I
It's
was
not
just
just
about to say
mom.
that.
Both of you are just as important to be in the home. So that's why I said I don't agree with everything he's saying. He got a couple points in that whole pick me. Sad part is pick me women are damaged. Pick me women are like, please pick me. I'm good for you, but they got a lot of stuff wrong with them. So,
Mhm.
and most guys don't go for pick me women. Y'all say y'all want that.
Mhm.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I mean, me personally, to me, okay, you got to pick me woman, and then again, like we was talking about earlier, off camera, the next highest bidder, she gonna want him to pick her too. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
Right.
it's like, so you have a temporary pick me, because to
Right.
the next highest bidder, she's gonna go with the next highest bidder. Like if
Right.
that's, if that's who she is, that's what she's gonna do.
Right. I think we should. I think we'll do a separate podcast on this, far as like the women who like want like their men to match what they make, right? So let's say they bringing in 130 grand a year. Well, he got to match that, and it's just like, so you're looking down on anybody else. So if that person made 80 grand a year, you're like, no, I can't do that because he only makes
Right.
80 grand. That's an
Right.
extra 80 grand in the household. You know what I mean? That you didn't have in the household.
Right.
It's
That's
crazy to
that's
me.
your 80 plus his 80. That is now 160,000. You telling me 160,000, y'all can't make it work?
Like that's not enough. It got to be more. He got to be making 200. He got to be. So I do agree. Like that shit's crazy, because again, you're not going to get a man. You're going to get it's like a someone who's just sending you money. You're not going to get someone who could be there. If you want someone to be there, then it might be the dude who's making 80 to 90K,
Hmm.
you know?
Exactly.
And then I'm
Who's
not
there?
saying date a bum, not saying go be with a bum that all he does is sleep, play video games, and smoke weed. I'm not saying that
Right.
they couldn't sell anything to save or to save
Right.
that
Right.
household. I'm not saying that. But I am saying
Mm-mm.
there's decent men out there, and just like there's decent women out there that aren't chasing the career dream. But I do feel like we have to get the women to come back to reality and stop chasing these six figures, because that's not the relationship at the end of the day. That's going to be 2 seconds,
Mhm.
hang out and go have fun in VIP. But the
Exactly.
chances of you really obtaining a man who makes that money is really, really on the less side. You're not really going to have that. There's more men on the lower brackets, because look at the jobs out there. And you
Hmm.
can't tell me that someone who works for the city doing garbage is below your level. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
'Cause they make
Hmm.
decent money. You better hop
Right.
on that shit.
Yeah, just think
Like,
about a post
man.
office. If they work in a post office, I know New York post office, that was the shit. Like if you had a postal job in New York, you're
Yeah,
making good
girl.
money. Like there's careers where it's decent money. And then
Right.
you like you said, and then it goes back to if you're making decent money and he's making decent money. But you know what is so bad? Because I see it all the time on the podcasts is with these men telling women that they need the rich man. They need that when we all
Yeah.
know that's it's only 1%.
Mm-mm.
It's maybe 17%. I could probably be wrong. That's making six figures. Only 17% is
It's
making
a
six figures.
very low percent.
Exactly. And then if you was telling them to go for a rich man, which is 1%,
Right. Even
and
less.
again, let's just be honest. Okay, you do get these men. The only thing that they can provide for you is financially. They are
Right.
not going to be able to be there for you emotionally,
Nope.
mentally, because they're so busy out in them streets
Yep.
getting that money to stay in that 1% or to stay at that 17%.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like you said, you at the yacht, you at the this, he's there for you financially.
Right.
You could get that new purse, but is he there for you mentally, emotionally?
You got
There's
also
so
look at
much
that.
more in a relationship. I just think they
It's
just
so
people.
less of them and so many women after them. You know what I mean? That go their ego be huge.
Mhm.
So
And
again,
then
the
that, yeah, we don't even want to talk about that with the more money the make, the more ego there is, the more
right,
they think they can talk to you and treat you any type of way. See, the women
right,
don't talk about that part. Those
right.
women that's in these relationships with these quote unquote rich men or these
Mhm.
men making six figures, they are
Yep.
being verbally abused, physically abused, mentally abused. They don't talk about that part because they're on the yacht with them sunglasses hiding that black eye. Let's just
Mhm.
be honest. You know what I mean? They don't talk
Yes.
about those things. They
Mhm.
stay in those things so they can be able to, like I said, get that person, go to those
Right.
vacations. But mentally, physically, and emotionally, they be being abused because, like you said, with ego, money and ego, where you going? You ain't
Right.
got nothing. You
Right.
like the way you live, right?
Right.
And treating them all type of way. So, what you're willing to sacrifice for a couple of dollars?
There well, there are a lot of women who will, just like there are a lot of men who will, right? I do feel it's a lot worse these days because of how social media has glorified it, right? So you have a lot more people jumping on this train of I'll do anything for money. And we got a couple podcasts that are going to come up showing that, just like the sexy reds of the world. It's like there's going to be people that are just they're going to do anything for that money. But again, at what cost? At the end of the day, your children will grow up and they will have to see the shit that you have done. And so when we talk
Mhm.
about, well, these are my choices, your choices affect your family and especially your kids. So you could say all the
Mhm.
shit that I want this, that, and the third, but it doesn't you're not gonna when you have to face the music, and you have to face those kids and eat that shit of what you didn't do as a parent. Because you could say all that, oh, I provided for you, I fed you. Okay, good. You want stars because you did the basic necessities.
Mhm.
You didn't go
No,
above and
it's
beyond,
true.
and the kids always remember what you didn't do.
Mhm.
Um, how you weren't there
Mhm.
when they
Okay,
needed
we went to Disney every year, but Daddy was never home. Daddy
you.
was
Right,
never at my soccer game. Daddy was never at parent teacher conference.
right,
Those are what they're gonna. Okay, you went to Disney every year. Okay,
right.
woohoo. And I think a lot of men do that are providers think, okay, it's one and done. I'm a provider. It's not one and done.
No,
Your children need you. Your son needs you. Your daughter needs you. And
yep.
then people wonder, oh, well, they were two family, income in the house or two family home. But just because they were there doesn't mean that they were active. So
Yep.
she grows up, looking for that father figure, or he grows up
Woo.
going into that gang.
Yep.
But your dad was there. No, your dad was at work all the time.
Hmm.
Dad didn't throw a football with you, but dad did
Right.
take you to Disney.
Right. Because yeah, you could be in a home and be checked out. My parents were. They were home. They didn't work. They lived off welfare and they were both checked out, you know. So again, your kids are going to remember how you interacted with them. Those are the memories they're going to hold on to. They're not going to care about all the extra shit. I would not have cared about us being poor if my parents would have been active in my life. I would have understood because I'd be like, you know what? Even though we were poor, man, they always showed up.
Right.
We didn't have much, but man, they were always, I can't say that shit. Think I can say that? No, hell, no, I can't say that. It's sad because I tell people, I say it all the time. Like when I look at my mom is what, 70, 73, and I'm like, when I have issues, when I'm feeling a certain kind of way, I can't call her. There's no calling her and getting no, how people talk about calling their mom and just feeling better. There's none of that for me. I can't call her and get that. I don't even know what to call it. To be honest, it's like I can't call her for advice. She didn't do shit with her life. Can't call her for business advice. I can't call her for relationship advice because she stayed with an abusive man. And then after that, she chose pieces of shit. So it was like, what can I really call this lady for? Can't call her for
Mm,
anything, you know? And I talk to my daughter about it all the time, and she's like, it's crazy because she'll be having conversations with people and they'll be like saying that about like their mom was never there. And she's just like, I can't say that. Like,
exactly. She can relate.
she's like, I can't even imagine growing up how y'all grew up because she's like, she knows no matter what, my mom is there. My mom has
Mm,
always been there, you know. And I never, we always had, we were never like rich. We always had, you know. And she always had a room and stuff, but I didn't have TVs in every room. I was not that parent, and I never wanted to be that parent. Like if we had one TV in the
mm,
house, it was like, okay, we got one TV, maybe two, you know. And it was never like we're gonna have this lavish fucking museum home. No, we're gonna do other stuff. We gonna go to the movies and do other things with
mm,
the money we have. But yeah, so it's like you gotta show up. So having that man or that even that woman when you're looking at if you're looking for a woman, you guys, it's not that she cannot work, but women, y'all need to understand too, you can't be working 100 hours a week either and think to and bring kids in the world. Who's fucking raising them? This is why we got a bunch of these kids out here running around disrespectful, don't listen to anybody because nobody, they're raising their damn selves.
mm.
This Gen
Yep.
Z is like,
Mm.
I don't know what the world gonna look like
But
with
you
it.
know what? Because it goes back to both parents are so busy chasing a bag, and
Yeah,
they both chasing that bag, leaving these kids at home, no supervision, and these kids are fending for themselves because everybody want to chase the bag.
it's crazy. Like, don't make that the top notch. You can have a decent money. I know the economy is bad because I know people get in the comments and be like, "Oh, but the economy and in interest and all of these things."
Hmm.
You still, I tell everyone this. I always challenge people: go to your bank account, go highlight all the bullshit that you spent last month.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know the bullshit you
Hmm.
spend, whether it's coffee, whether it's going out to
Yep.
eat, whether it's
Hmm.
impulse purchasing, or how many
Yep.
new clothes you need to buy, how many new outfits you need. Do you need a new
So
outfit
true.
for every occasion? You know, it's
Hmm.
things like that. Like, it's like, fine, do what you want to do, but don't complain you don't have because you choose to live a
Hmm.
lifestyle outside of your means, right? Because if you're saying you don't got no money, well, then maybe not shop as much.
Exactly.
I don't know, maybe look at some meals that maybe spread a couple days instead of, you know, even me, I had to sit and be like, man, we waste a lot of food. Cooking,
Hmm.
putting stuff, no one was eating leftovers. It's like, damn, we waste way too much food. It's actually cheaper for me to just go and get my food at a decent place versus cooking it, wasting it, and then, you know, all of this stuff going to waste. And I'm like, how many people
Hmm.
go shopping and waste food because they don't even eat it? They don't even do that. It's like, look at what you do first and then sit and say, oh, I don't have no money. You got a car note, you got insurance, you know, what kind of car you have to drive. Do you need a car note?
Your phone plan that's $100 because you have unlimited orders.
Probably not even that. With the kids, it's probably like $400 a month just for all the phone lines and the
Mhm.
iPhones and all the shit that
No,
comes.
it's true.
It's like when you're
Get a
looking at all
$40
of that, are
plan.
you living within your means?
Exactly.
Most of the time,
Exactly.
most people aren't. Most people are way above their means and they're crying about their paycheck. So you
Hmm.
have to take that step back and go, all right, what can I really cut? What do I really need? You know, and that shit of, oh, we need Netflix, we need this. No, maybe talk to your
Hmm.
fucking kids. You know,
Hmm.
maybe
No, it's
sit
true.
outside with them and chit chat. You know,
Hmm.
like maybe go play with their ass. Stop handing
Hmm.
them a fucking tablet, you know? But we digressed. We were talking about the passport, bro.
You
Um,
know, once we start talking, it's a wrap.
I will say real quick, I won't go into the other videos, but I will pull this up real quick to just go back to what we're saying. These men going out, and I don't think it's just men. I think women are starting to jump on the train of being a passport girl or whatever it's called. I don't know what they call a girl. Passport. I don't know what they talk. I don't know what they're doing. But if you're gonna get into that, just know that yeah, stuff is happening out there. Like this story,
Mm-hmm.
where this guy, his name is Tu Sheng. He kept going to Colombia. I think it was a couple times he kept going to Colombia, and he decided to like move out there. But then he actually met someone. The girl set him up. All right, so he got set up, and then the story is that his family got like a message saying that he was being held for ransom. $2,000. He got killed over 2K. So
That's
can you
crazy.
imagine losing your life on 2K because you just have to go to these other countries searching for the one?
Mm.
And I mean, he was kidnapped. And when you read this, you're like, he has multiple stab wounds, bruises. He was discarded off a 260-foot cliff.
Mm.
They didn't even care. They just let him go,
Mm.
because they don't care. And this is not the only story. There's several stories like this. You guys have got to be careful. So this isn't just that, oh, you can't find love in the States. You can. You just have to really think about what are you trying to look for, and then who are you trying to really be? Because it looks cool with these people doing what they're doing, right? It looks cool of them going to these countries, and they show all these like bad chicks, all of these bad chicks, and they look, these tens, right? And we got to do a podcast on that, because just because they look a 10 don't mean they are a 10. There's so many things that I feel like should go into that. But
Mm-hmm.
there's gangs, there's wars, there's things that you're not paying attention in this. So yeah, the US Embassy is getting into it now. They have to. There's way too many dying. So, yeah, you got your passport, but be careful. We just talked about this earlier. You don't know people. I don't care how charming they are. I don't care how knowledgeable they seem. I don't care how sexy or handsome, whatever. You have got to do your diligence and keep yourself safe. It's no different from where we would tell a woman, right? We would tell a woman to know her surroundings, check in with someone. Don't ever go back to a man's place, on the first date. Don't invite the man to your place on the first date.
Mm-hmm.
Go somewhere in public, you know what I mean, to meet, all of those things. And then I know that I think he dated her like a couple times, but I don't know, that other country stuff, you guys. I think that's where you got to be like, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I would be
Right.
too, like, I personally
Mm-mm.
would think the person just wants a green card. There's no way I would think that this person
Right.
is like really into me. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't. There's no way. I would be like, you're acting and you just wanted your green card.
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of stories like that where after they get their green card, what happens? They get treated like
Mm-hmm.
shit. They leave them, all of these things.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh, I thought this person was in love with me. Were they really? Or were they? There are people who are good actors and actresses. Some of these people need Academy Awards. I will say that, you guys.
Right.
So I know sometimes it's not just, not seeing the warning signs, because some people really play the role good. But a lot of times you have to trust that gut, something's off, something's not right, you know. And if you do that, then maybe you'll, hopefully not get yourself in a messed up situation where your life is taken, all because
Mm-hmm.
you really are hating, your own people, because we are Americans, you guys, in this country, in the USA. If you're in the USA, you're an American. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know right now today there's a lot of hate for our country because of the people before us and what they did, but we still live here. Our kids, our grandkids will all live here too, unless they leave, but they're going to be here. So we should start really practicing that love for our country. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how we regain and reestablish our communities. We have to do it with love. We can't do it with hate and demanding like that dude in the beginning. Like, who's going to listen to that?
The separation is so crazy because I seen another video like with the black men and the black women to separate. Don't date each other no longer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when I seen that, I was like, what?
Yeah. I
Like
saw
the
that
shit
one
didn't
too.
even make sense. It made no sense. Like it just made no sense.
It's the
Instead of
blame
saying
game.
let's
It's the
instead of saying
blame
let's
game.
come
It's,
together,
yeah.
together, we will be so much more successful together than
Yeah.
apart.
It's a blame game. It's a constant look at the person as, oh, it's you guys' fault. It's your fault. It's not ever like, let's come together and figure it out, right? There's, and it's crazy because we have a podcast that's going to come up, and we're going to be talking to someone who's Palestine and about the stuff that's going on over there. And even one of the things that I was speaking with the woman, I was telling her, like, I'm not saying what's happening is right, because killing is killing regardless. So when you're in a mode of, well, you guys did this, so now we're going to do this, it's still revenge. How is that going to help the situation? Right? And you could blame it on the white man and this, that, and the third. But at what point do you say, we got to take this back? Whatever
Mm-hmm.
this is, we got to take it back and restructure. It just
Mm-hmm.
all can't be, oh, all black women are this, all black men are this, because I feel like that's you're now you're categorizing everybody into the same place, and that's what we're going to do. We're just going to say everybody is the same, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's wrong. Yeah, there might be a high percentage that you may not like, but you got to ask yourself, how did they get there?
Mm-hmm.
How did this high percentage of Black women get to this place of being angry or feeling unsafe? Like we were talking
Mm-hmm.
about earlier, not feeling safe, not being able to not have to be masculine, to
Mm-hmm.
constantly have to be on guard, constantly have to be running the home, dealing with the kids and work, and then have baby daddy or man run off, go make other kids. And it's sad because you got the Black man over here pointing fingers, but it's like, all right, but which one, how many of y'all are helping? Because it looks
Mm-hmm.
like just as many of y'all complaining as just as many of y'all are ditching and leaving the kids by themselves.
Exactly. No, it's true. And it's like instead of throwing in the towel and saying let's just separate and go elsewhere, you're gonna go elsewhere with your shit because
Right.
it ain't being solved.
Nope.
So okay, oh, let's not date each other. Let's go
Right.
date other races. Okay, now you're
Right.
bringing your shit to a whole nother race. Like
Right.
instead of just coming together, and it's just the stupid.
Right.
I mean, the shit I see on the internet is just crazy,
I've
and then
seen a
it's
lot
sad
too
because it's
because somebody was doing something over, and we'll do that too because there was all these athletes that are with white women or they date the Black athletes tend to date other races and stuff, and the common thing you hear, because y'all can say what y'all want to say, but the common thing you have them say is that the woman listens. Okay. And again, we talked about this earlier. You cannot, as the female, right? The feminine female energy, you cannot be running shit if your man is like, I got this. There's in it, you could say it's a social construct or whatever of the relationship, but men have their way to do things, and
mm-hmm,
women, especially because there's so many that don't know this aspect because they didn't have it. There's a lot of broken homes. It's been like this for a couple generations now, right? The fathers
Mm-hmm.
haven't been in the home. You're missing that aspect of what a man does, what a provider does, how he leads. And so you're coming into these relationships, you're angry, you are mad, and you want to run shit. And so when the man is like, okay, you're not allowing me to be the man, he's not going to stay. He's not going to
Mm-hmm.
stay in that relationship. You're not
Mm-hmm.
allowing him to be, because I'm not going to sit here and say every man just, has some issues. I do see it on both ends where women, you have to take that step back. And if they're complaining, they're telling you this, listen, just like the women who have
Exactly.
their complaints, listen to what they're complaining of,
Mm-hmm.
not just get mad, but listen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how can I step back? Because I know a lot of women who, again, don't want to look in the mirror and say, "Oh damn, maybe I am demanding. Maybe I am this. Maybe I do go off the wall." You know how many females, especially black women, that are cussing they fucking dude out, and that means, like, when I hear a woman, y'all, I'm just gonna put it out there. When I hear a woman cussing out her man. This is the man she lays up with. This is the man she has kids with. And when I hear her screaming at him, you punk bitch, this, that, your kids are all around hearing that. What respect do you have in this relationship?
Mm-hmm.
What are you teaching the little ones that are around? And why do you think it's even okay to even talk to supposedly your man, the one you're with,
Mm-hmm.
in that way? So I think there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
that people aren't looking in the mirror and going, damn, maybe I am aggressive. Maybe I am demeaning, or just as demeaning as the person that I'm messing with.
Mm-hmm. Disrespectful. And I think that's a lot of the times there's no respect.
Hmm.
There's a lot of women that are not honest with themselves. They don't respect their man. And like you
Oh,
said, you can see by the actions, the way they talk, the way they move, the way they are with their man. She has no respect for him. And
nope.
until she can be honest, and
Hmm.
even for him to say, she doesn't have respect for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, she doesn't have respect for you. You will
And,
see.
and this is where it goes into the women having to understand, just because that man doesn't make 150K a year doesn't mean he's less than a man. Okay. This is where women have to check themselves. Just because
Mm-hmm.
that man works at 7-Eleven, or just because he works at McDonald's, or where he works at Popeyes, that doesn't make him less of a fucking man.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't give you the right to down talk to him as if he's a piece of shit. Because I see that
Mm-hmm.
a lot. And you're like, you wonder why men are tired of your shit,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you're being disrespectful off of what is really here. Because some men I see be really
Yeah.
trying to handle shit
Mm-hmm.
and get treated like shit, and you're like, damn, why are you being like this? Do you even see how you're being with this person? All
Mm-hmm.
because they're not being who you think they should be in this life,
Exactly.
because you
And then,
comparing him to Instagram bullshit,
exactly. Or listening to what this man is saying, who you should be with,
or the stupid
like,
friends that ain't even getting better.
who ain't even got nobody at all. The ones that is sitting there like, oh, I'm struggling, I can't pay this bill. But your boo that work at Popeyes, y'all good. Y'all bills is paid because his little income is coming in, your income coming in, your bill is paid. But she telling you how she can't pay hers. But she don't want
Right.
to date the dude who work at Popeyes.
Yeah, I seen when the girl was like, this girl was like, if you work at McDonald's, she even included Postman. If you work at the post office, she was like, you need to do something else with yourself. And I was like, what is wrong with some of these chicks out here? Really? If you're a janitor, all of those
Like,
are jobs.
these are city jobs with
Construction.
good benefits, with 401ks. Like, what
I
the
was like,
fuck?
everybody does not want to be a drug dealer on a fucking corner. And if
Hmm.
that's what you're promoting, then y'all are like, y'all ain't got no damn sense. If that's what you're promoting, like, well, I'd rather you go be a hustler. You would rather your man go out and chance his life, right? You would rather him go chance his life stealing, hustling, doing some crazy shit to get money real quick, that fast money, right? Versus go work your hours, come home safe, and we fucking live and have a decent life. Does that make sense? I just look at this shit and I'm like, because I mean, I got with the thug on the street. That was my baby daddy. And I always say that shit. Once we start getting into those late teens, that shit was not cute no more. And it was just like, our life ain't gonna be you still trying to be a kingpin and and I'm gonna go get a job. And then, we gonna lose it all anyway, because eventually your shit gonna be taken from you, whether somebody gonna come rob your ass or the police are gonna come, because it's eventually gonna happen, right? And it was just like, no. So eventually all of that fast money is not good money. And so what are you really asking of yourselves? And I think a lot of these type of women, and they're calling these women modern women, but I don't really think that you should just categorize all women into that. Like, not every woman is after that. Not every woman wants this fast money. We're gonna do anything, Bonnie and Clyde and shit, to fucking, be out here. Not every woman wants that. There are decent women who, still have some type of fucking class, but we're lacking that in the younger generations. When you have Cardi B telling y'all ain't got no class, that's how you know this shit is getting real. You got the ex-stripper telling you that y'all ain't got no class. That's when you got to sit back and be like, we need an etiquette. We need something. I think it's sad though. It's a lot of good men being passed up. So I do see the frustration in some of the men who are getting passed up, who are being looked at a certain way, that and I've had friends that like would go on a date and the dude wear Skechers and like, oh, I can't date him again. It was like, what happened? Was he nice? Yeah. And everything went well. It's like, what happened? His shoes. Like, this man treated you like a queen, took you out, wasn't aggressive or nothing, wasn't crazy, wasn't creepy. And it's just his shoes. Like, that made her broke the whole date. Wait, what? So what, he got to be wearing some Jordans to fucking impress you? Like, it's the craziest shit ever when you hear some of the, like, you ever see some of these TikToks and these women that like the dates and shit, the horrible dates, and you're like that's what you're really gonna end this date and not talk to this person again? What? Because he doesn't have flashy?
Look at him. Yeah. Broke. He won't spend no money on you. No. I can't believe this, y'all. Look at this. So he told me we're going out for drinks, right? Why we pull up at a Starbucks?
What's wrong with Starbucks?
I got dressed like this to go to Starbucks?
Yeah, I told you it was gonna be a casual date. Casual, you know what casual means?
Casual as in getting drinks. So I dressed in a whole dress, heels and everything.
Okay, so...
And we're getting coffee? You think I deserve a coffee date?
So you're gonna blame me for not being able to comprehend what I said? Because I said casual date. Casual date. First date should be casual.
Do you not comprehend who I am, what I look like, and you think that I deserve a coffee date? This is a PSA to all you ladies. Get to know somebody before you go on a date, because this is not a date.
Don't do this.
I don't know who you took out before. This is not a date. This is a cheap date.
Oh, so, okay. So now it comes out. Cheap, right? Cheap.
How else would you see this as? Their drinks are like $5.
Okay, so instead you wanted me to take you to like what? You wanted me to take you to
a restaurant. You know, you're supposed to wine and dine me. You're supposed to be a man. What's your excuse here? We're at Starbucks.
And you're supposed to be cooking for me. You're supposed to be a woman.
I don't even know you that well yet.
Right. We're doing gender roles, right? You just said I'm supposed to be a man. I'm supposed to, wine and dine you, take you out to somewhere nice. That's a gender role.
As a date, yeah.
Okay, cool. And you could have came over my house and cooked for me as a date. But we didn't do that, did we?
No, why would I be in your house if I just met you?
Why would I spend $200 plus on you if I just met you?
Because you're trying to win me. Like,
oh, okay.
You're trying to court me. Yes, I'm the prize.
Where do you work again? Where do you work?
What does that matter?
Grocery store, right?
What does that matter?
Right. So I make more money than you, right?
Okay. Well, obviously,
I had to pick you
you're
up,
cheap
right?
with it.
I had to pick you up, right? You live in an apartment, right?
Okay.
I live in a house. I have a car. I have a good job.
And
I have to win you over. You the prize, though, right?
And you take girls on dates to Starbucks?
And you weren't appreciative of going to Starbucks.
What am I supposed to get, a cake pop?
we were supposed to sit down, get a coffee, and talk.
Who gets coffee at 6 p.m.? Who gets coffee at 6 p.m.?
Then get a decaf, get a tea, get something else. Like you being like the first date is always supposed to be just casual, right? We just fill each other out.
Yeah, casual drinks.
The thing is, what if
I'm pretty sure that means a restaurant with a meal in front of me, getting to know each other better, and
what we're fed for free.
We're here
trying to get fed for free.
Fed for free?
I'm trying to get fed for free.
I could get any date I want.
And you know,
I could get a date right now and have him pay for my food.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
You can? Yeah.
I don't know why you think that's so hard. Like, look at me. Like
I could have picked up anybody off the street and paid for their meal. That's what this is
okay, but
right
they
now.
Wouldn't look like this.
I'm just paying
They wouldn't look like this. So
okay, no. First of all, you're not even as thick as in the pictures that you posted on your Instagram and in your profile. Like your hair
and
not
you're
done.
not as cute. Yeah. And you're not as cute.
Okay.
And you clearly don't have as much money as you said you did, because here we are at Starbucks.
Okay. You know what? I'm sorry, we pulled up at Starbucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's more
I'm gonna take
like
you
it.
home. I'm gonna take you back home.
Home?
I'm gonna take you back home where you can fix yourself some cup noodles or something.
You want to take me home?
Yeah, I'm gonna take you home.
I look like this
take you home.
in your car right now, and you want to take me home?
Yeah, I'm gonna take you home.
You sure about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you can get any other date, right? Just like you said, you can get any dude to come and pay for your meal and take you out and wine down you, right? You can get that at any time, right?
So now we're not going on the date because you don't want to pay more than Starbucks.
Oh, it's not that. Money's no option.
So if money's no option, then why aren't we going on the date? Like an actual date?
Because one, you trying to put me on blast. Like you got your phone out filming this interaction right now.
Okay,
for
because
what reason?
I thought I was getting pranked at this point.
Oh, okay.
Like it feels like it's not real because I've never had a grown man take me to Starbucks for a date. What is this, high school?
You never had a grown man in general, because you acting really unappreciative. Like you expect me to take you to some 5-star restaurant right out the gate. You know what? I'm gonna do you one better. I'm not even gonna take you home.
What?
Any dude can come and get you and take you out, right? Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and make sure that's the case. We'll pull over right here.
Are you serious?
Yep.
You're
Go ahead and
not
get out.
serious. Are you?
Go ahead and get out.
You know what?
Yep.
Whatever.
Go back on your profile. Ask one of them dudes to pick you up, take you out. Yeah.
Ladies, this man right here is broke. He's broke. Look at him. Look at him.
Yeah.
Broke. He won't spend no money on you.
I'm just like, we
Because
got to
he
get
don't
back.
want to pay for the food for your kids that's at home.
Girl, we
see that one.
We're not even going to get. We need to do a whole podcast on that one, because bringing the kids on a date, taking food home to the kids, it's a lot that people are doing. It's out of line. Bringing your friend on the first date and all this shit, it's some crazy shit. I'm like, y'all be messy, and I think that ties into this person doesn't really want you. They're coming for something, because when you're really trying to get to know somebody, you're not going to do all that extra shit on the first date. You're not going to be piling shit up to take home, because you're generally trying to impress the person. You're not bringing your kid on the first date and shit. Like, well, I ain't got no babies in her.
Right. Or wanting to take plates home to the 17-year-old and this, that, and that. Like, what?
No, and I think men, we're going to school you guys so you guys can understand. It's a lot of women who just play games too. It's not just men who play games. A lot of women play games, and they will list you under meal or what, list you under whatever when they want to get something. So you guys got to see the signs too, because there are women that play those games, and no woman who's really interested in you is gonna be doing that. Like, oh, I gotta take this. Well, buy your kid some food like that. Why would that be on him on a date?
Right.
Why would he be obligated to purchase an extra plate that you're gonna take home?
Right.
What? Who does that?
Mhm.
So it's a lot of issues, but you guys, passport bros, men, drop your comments. So we want to hear from you guys. How are you guys feeling about this? Do you guys think that going off to another, continent is you're gonna find your dream woman? Do you think it's like no hope in America to find love, or do you guys got successful relationships here in the States? We want to know. Drop us a comment and let us know, because this shit is crazy. I don't want to see no more of American men dying over
I was
trying to
just
get.
about to say that. Don't sacrifice your life. Please
Yeah,
do
it's
not
sad.
sacrifice your life.
It
Mm-mm.
really is. And not saying that this can't happen. There's so many, of course, stories of guys being set up, with because online dating is very scary. Same thing. You got to be careful of who you're going to go see. Don't just go to somebody's neighborhood and house. Should always be somewhere in public. Your first meeting should always be in public. So if you're going to someone's house on the first meeting, you're chancing your life. That male or female, you're
Mm-hmm.
chancing it. I don't know about this, y'all. Until next time. We're gonna wrap it up. Until next time. No passport bros. Hang up your passports. No matter of fact, go use your passport. Just go see some shit and come back safely.
Right. Right. Don't come back with a woman, or don't be going for a woman. Just go explore the country.
Or get on 90 Day Fiance. At least they film it and they'll have motherfuckers. You'll be safer.
Right. Right. Got a whole crew following you.
You'll be so safe, right? All right, you guys. Bye.